Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It is so wonderful to have you all on today. We've got a lot of our friends joining us from the United Arab Emirates, from Dubai in particular. It's really wonderful to have you joining. Is there anyone, you can put it in the chat, anybody joining from somewhere else other than Dubai? I'm here in the United States. I'm in Texas. Sister Reem, where are you?
Atlanta.
Wow, Atlanta in the United States. So even the book, because we're in different states, but it's really wonderful to have you all on. This is one of our last read alouds. We've got just one more coming up, and this is a really special one. I wonder, I know that in Dubai, there's people who move from all over the world. And I wonder if anyone who's joining us today has lived in a part of the world where Muslims aren't the majority, where most of the people in your school aren't Muslim, and where their school is still going on during Eid. If you've never experienced that, today you'll hear about a little girl who experiences a lot of different things because their school doesn't have a day off on Eid because she's not living in a Muslim country. So that we're going to hear about from author Reem Faruqi. Sister Reem, I'm going to talk a little bit about Sister Reem, but I just want to first welcome you all to ISLA, the Islamic Schools League of America, Ramadan Act 1444. What's the number 1444 stand for? I wonder if we ever even talked about that. Oh, mashallah, look, we've got people from the UK and Egypt and Mumbai. Thank you so much for joining. Somebody said, how is India? And the person said, not great. Okay, well, that's honest. I love it, mashallah. That's one of the reasons why we started Ramadan Connect, because Allah has made all of us, and we are a beautiful community and family that comes from different places and speaks different languages and has different traditions. And we want to learn about that. So Isla's been having conversations with you guys on the Padlet and through these read alouds. So thank you so much for joining us. ISLA is located in the United States, and we work with about 300 schools in this country. And those schools teach about 50,000 Muslim students. And we just love doing these kinds of programs where we get to help and interact with you as the students. A lot of times we also interact with the teachers and principals and talk about teacher stuff, like how to do more exciting activities, or what do you do if a student's not paying attention or following the instructions. So we'll talk about a lot of those kinds of things. But today we're here to learn and listen to Sister Reem. And at the end of today's read aloud, we're going to invite you. You can unmute yourself and you can type in the chat. What are some questions that you have for Sister Reem? Questions about her as an author, or questions about her as her story that she wrote. And actually, before we even go into Sister Reem, I would like to ask my friend Farhan to unmute and recite Surah Fatiha.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim.
غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Ameen. Great job, Farhan, mashallah. And we have Amina and Abdullah there too. Amina in first grade and Abdullah in pre-K, right? So nice to have you guys on. Thank you so much. Thank you, Farhan. That was lovely, mashallah. Okay, so now let's go back to our screen here. Where's that screen of mine? Well, I'll just do it like this and like this. Okay, so now I want to tell you about Sister Reem Faruqi. Sister Reem Faruqi is the author of Lailah's Lunchbox. Anybody have any guesses what Lailah's Lunchbox is going to talk about? It is a Ramadan story. You can put your ideas in the chat. Sister Reem Faruqi is, mashallah, an award-winning author who enjoys writing lyrical stories. What does lyrical mean? I wonder if anyone knows. That reflect her own experiences. So now we have a clue about where she got the idea for this story. When Reem Faruqi taught second grade, her favorite time was read aloud time. Now her favorite time at home is reading with her daughters. MashaAllah. Reem Faruqi is the award-winning author of Lailah's Lunchbox, a picture book based on her own experiences as a young Muslim girl immigrating to the United States. Sister Reem, thank you so much for joining us today. And we are really looking forward to hearing your story. There'll be something new that a lot of us will learn.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm so excited to meet you all today. I'm just going to share the screen so that you can see the book, but I do have a copy of the book here, but I think it'll be easier for you to really enjoy the pictures. Can you see this? Oh, sorry, what?
Yeah, I was just saying we have some guesses here in the chat about what the story is going to be about, Sister Reem. We can see your shared screen, alhamdulillah. Somebody guessed that Lailah will fast the whole Ramadan and not use her lunchbox for school. That's Abdullah thought that. And then Muhammad thinks it might be about international food. Hey, let's find out.
Inshallah. Okay, so let's start. So thank you again so much for being here, and I'll begin. We won't be needing this for a while, said Lailah's mother, hanging up Lailah's lunchbox. Imagine, I won't be eating lunch for a month, replied Lailah with a twirl. I won't have to pack lunch for a month, said her mom with a bigger twirl. And something cool about this page is that these jars look like the ones in my kitchen. I sent the illustrator photos of my kitchen. So if you want to know what my house looks like, this is it. The year before, Lailah had wanted to fast with her best friends, Hind and Ishrat, during Ramadan. But Lailah's mom had insisted she was too small. Remembering that, Lailah stopped twirling. She missed her friends. Does anyone else, you can show me with your thumbs up. Does anyone else's mom say you're too small to fast? That happened a lot to me and I didn't like it. Let me check. Yeah, I see a couple thumbs. Okay. But I hope you get to fast soon, inshallah. Thank you. On her map in her atlas, North America and the Middle East were 10 inches apart. But in real life, she was so much farther away. She wished she was only 10 inches away from her best friends, Hind and Ishrat. She knew the sign by the highway said, Peachtree City, you love to call it home. But she didn't agree with the sign. Abu Dhabi still felt like her home. And does anyone want to answer which continent is Abu Dhabi in? We know Georgia is in Atlanta, Georgia is in America. But which continent is Abu Dhabi in? And when I see two people raise their hands.
Yeah, Muhammad.
Okay, perfect.
Sure, yeah, Muhammad, do you want to unmute and tell us?
Yeah, thank you.
Say that again?
Yeah, thank you. My name is actually Fatima Kadir.
Oh, okay, Fatima. Yes, Fatima, go ahead, sweetie.
What was the question? I didn't understand.
Where's Abu Dhabi located? Which continent?
I think Abu Dhabi is in the UAE.
Yeah, it is in the UAE, you're right. And is it in Australia or in Africa or North America? Asia, you got it. Thank you.
Good job, Fatima. It is in Asia. So Asia and North America are so far away. And I moved from Asia to North America.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Oh, thank you for answering so beautifully. The next morning before sunrise, Lailah's mom gently nudged her. Lailah, she whispered, sehri time. Lailah chomped on her chocolate chip pancakes with her eyes closed. Delicious, she said. Come, let's pray now, said her mom. And so today, one of my daughters made chocolate chip waffles. And I thought of Lailah because I haven't made chocolate chip pancakes in a while. So why do you think Lailah's eyes are closed as she's eating? She's chomping like this. Does anyone want to guess why are her eyes closed? It could be a few reasons. What do you think?
Yes, you are. You want to unmute?
Yes, because she's sleepy.
Yes.
And if you fasted
Abdul-
before, it's hard.
Abdullah says he's also sleepy when he eats suhoor. Yeah.
Yes, it's so while you eat surah asleep. Yes. Sometimes when you eat, you might be eating like Lailah with your eyes closed, like, right? Sleepy in the morning. It's hard to wake up. After Sehri, Lailah snuggled back into her bed until her mom woke her up again, this time for school. As she left the house, her mom handed her a note. Lailah, please give this note to your teacher, Mrs. Penworth. Without her lunchbox to carry, her fingers felt free and extra swingy. She felt so light, she skipped to the school bus stop. On the bus, she read her mom's note. Dear Mrs. Penworth, this will be Lailah's first time fasting for the month of Ramadan, so it is an exciting time for us. Please excuse Lailah from lunch for this special month. Thanks, Mrs. Mullick. Lailah did not feel so bouncy anymore. What if her teacher didn't know about Ramadan? No one else would be fasting with her. She folded the note into a teeny tiny square and hid it in her book bag. You can show me with your thumbs. If you think she's going to give her teacher the note, you can do thumbs up if you're not sure. And if you think she's not going to give her teacher the note, you can put your thumbs down. No, I need some thumbs down. She's not going to give it. Okay. Let's see what happens. Lailah walked slowly to her class. Her throat felt dry all morning. When lunchtime arrived, she still hadn't given her teacher the note. Lailah, did you forget your lunch? Asked Mrs. Penworth. Lailah opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Samantha volunteered, I'll share my lunch with Lailah. Mrs. Penworth shook her head. Thank you for the offer, Samantha, but Lailah, please get a sandwich from the cafeteria. And why do you think Lailah's throat feels dry? Does anyone want to answer? Why is her throat dry? Oh, two people raised their hand.
Yeah, I know this is not Muhammad back there. Muhammad. Who is that? Yes, sweetie.
Tala,
Go ahead.
because she didn't drink all day.
Yes.
Because she's fasting, right? And her peers, her classmates and her teachers don't understand what's going on because most of them aren't Muslim and they might not know someone who's Muslim. She's here in the United States.
Yes. And when I moved here, I noticed that not everybody knew what Ramadan was. It was so different from when I grew up in Abu Dhabi. So you're right. She's a little thirsty. She hasn't drank water since suhoor or sehri time. And she could also be a little nervous. Lailah followed her class to the cafeteria. Lailah, do you want some of my cream roll? Asked Anna. Lailah thought of telling Anna that she was fasting, but she didn't think anyone at Sunnyvale Elementary knew about Ramadan. No, thanks. I didn't bring my... Are you sure? Asked Anna, unwrapping the cream rolls. Lailah watched it get smaller and smaller, and she didn't feel so sure. Cream rolls were her favorite. When she looked away, her nose still smelled food. Lailah wished she had given her teacher the note. Even Isaiah's bologna sandwich looked tasty. And Lailah didn't even like bologna. Her stomach rumbled. Suddenly, she had an idea. While everyone was busy eating, she snuck out of the cafeteria and her stomach stopped growling. Does anyone want to guess? Where do you think she's going to go? Where do you think she's going to go?
Yes, Layan.
I think she might try and head back to class to hide.
That's a good guess. Maybe she goes back to class to hide. Okay, we're going to find out. Does anyone else want to guess? Or I can go on the next one. Let's see. Oh, I'll give you a hint. It's somewhere with a lot of books. Oh, do you want to say it again, Leanne? Oh, no. Okay, we'll find out. She goes to the library, my favorite place. Why, Layla, it's a pleasure to see you. But what brings you here at lunchtime? Asked Mrs. Carmen, the librarian. Layla felt safe among all the books. She opened her mouth, and this time her words tumbled out. Layla told her that her teacher in class didn't know she was fasting. She told her how she missed her best friends. It felt good to tell someone all the words that had been inside her mind, and especially all about Ramadan. Miss Carmen understood. You must feel special to fast this Ramadan, she said with a smile. I do, said Layla, but why is it so hard to explain? You know what I do when I can't get my thoughts out or when I get shy about talking? Asked Miss Carmen. I write my thoughts down. So Layla got to work. She wrote neatly, adding extra loops to her capital L. She worked so hard her cheeks turned pink. Dear Mrs. Penworth, I didn't forget my lunchbox today. It's Ramadan. My mom finally let me fast. This means I won't be eating lunch for a month. Sincerely, Layla. P.S. I'm Muslim. P.P.S. My mom wrote you a note too. Here it is. P.P.P.S. Here's the poem I wrote about Ramadan. Ramadan is a month Muslims celebrate, a time to count our blessings and appreciate. Muslims fast before sunrise to sunset. But wait, that's not all just yet. Ramadan is a time for lots of prayer. We help the poor people to show we care. So in the day, I won't be eating any food, but hopefully will stay in a good mood. Layla hurried back to the cafeteria to join her class. Before school was out, she quietly dropped both notes onto Miss Penworth's desk. Think this time her teacher's going to see the notes. But the next morning, as Layla waited for the school bus, she wondered, would Mrs. Penworth like her poem? Layla hoped she didn't think she forgot her lunchbox again. She slowly climbed each step on the bus. In class, her teacher didn't say anything, so Layla wondered what had happened. She wished her best friends Hind and Ishrat were there with her. They would know what to say. Do you think her teacher saw the note? Thumbs up, yes. Sideways, and thumbs down, no. Did her teacher see the note? Oh, some people say yes, they did see the note. Okay, let's see. Yes, okay, good. A lot of people think she saw the note. If you think she saw the note, you can pat yourself on the back. You're right. At lunchtime, Layla's feet felt heavy. She was sure her teacher hadn't seen the notes. Everyone would think she forgot her lunchbox again. As she was leaving the class, Mrs. Penworth patted Layla on the back and handed her a message. Mrs. Penworth had made the capital L in Layla's name extra loopy. Dear Layla, I enjoyed your lovely poem about Ramadan. I'm impressed you're fasting. What a special time for you. You and your family must be thrilled. Will you share your poem with the class today after lunch? You can go to the library this month instead of the cafeteria. Mrs. Carmen is excited to see you. Sincerely, Mrs. Penworth. P.S. Mrs. Carmen told me you missed your friends. I hope you keep making new friends with our class. I think she will. Layla twirled all the way to the library. She couldn't wait to share her Ramadan poem with her class. Later, at iftar time, she would celebrate this day. So that's the end, but you can imagine that Layla had a really delicious iftar. And there's an author's note that just tells you that my best friends are also called Hind and Ishrat. And I moved from Abu Dhabi to Peachtree City, Georgia, just like Lailah. And I found it really hard to explain what Ramadan was. So I was so excited when I got to go to the library. But do you all have any questions or anything about the book? Thank you for listening so beautifully.
Thank you, Sister Reem. That was so lovely. I was confusing this book with Picture Day. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
sorry. Did you want me to read Picture Day?
No, this is lovely. I love it so much. And I think it's something that really got to have other students from around the world in Muslim majority countries understand what it might feel like for kids who are not around a lot of other Muslims and how they are struggling when they're fasting or the kinds of things that they go through. It's not necessarily always a struggle.
Yes. And Amira's Picture Day is about when Eid falls on school picture day. And in America, where I live, we don't have holidays for Eid if we're in a public school. Islamic schools, we're lucky, we get holidays. But if you don't get a holiday and Eid is on picture day,
Do you guys have Picture Day in Next Generation School? Yeah, you have that? Okay. All right. Okay. So who has a question for Sister Reem? We're almost at the end of our time. We have about 5 minutes left. And I think, was it Sister Sayam who's going to read Surah Al-Asr? Okay, that'll be at the end. Yes, Muhammad Qadir, whoever's at, I think it's Fatima. Sorry, I'm just reading the name that you have on your screen. Okay, yes. What's your question, Muhammad Qadir?
Yeah, my question is, but if Leanne was so excited, how come she was so nervous in the beginning?
Oh, not Leanne. Leanne's looking at us like, wait, I what?
I mean,
You mean Lailah?
Layla.
Okay.
yeah. I think when Lailah got on the school bus, that's when she realized her teacher wouldn't know about Ramadan, and then she became nervous. First, she thought everyone would know about Ramadan, but when she realized it would just be her fasting, she got a little nervous and a little shy. That happened to me. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you.
That's a really good question because sometimes we don't realize that like our emotions can change depending on where we are. We might not realize something in the beginning and be super excited. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, what did I do? What am I going to do now? Okay,
Exactly.
what else? Who else has a question? Yeah, Leanne gives us a thumbs up. Anyone else have a question? Ruqayya, assalamu alaikum. Sorry, I made you shy. Aya, you have any questions? Azra? Abdullah's been chatting away, mashallah. 5th grade Abdullah. Any questions, Abdullah? No? I have a question for Sister Reem. Sister Reem, when did you write your first like story or when did you imagine like you're going to be an author, a famous author the way you are now, mashallah?
Oh, when I was 9 years old, I got a journal for my birthday and I started writing in it and I didn't stop. So I have a whole box of journals. I think when I was 9, I started writing.
Wow. Did you know you would be an author like the way that you are now?
No, I always wanted to be a teacher and I did become a teacher, but then now I became an author. So, but I love being an author because I get to meet people like you and read books to you.
Yeah, this is pretty special. And Sister Reem, one really special thing you've done is you've given a lot of parents in the United States the opportunity to be able to go into a classroom and read this story and teach other kids about Ramadan. So people like Lailah don't have to feel so shy and embarrassed. So that's really special. Thank you, Reem.
Yeah, you're welcome. And it's so exciting because I'll see people, students holding the book on the first day of Ramadan, and they're like, we're going to take this to read aloud today. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, that's so exciting. All right, so we have Sister Sayam. Is it Sayam? Who's going to recite Surah Al-Asr? Did I say Layan or Sayam? Who did I say? Layan, you are? Okay, Layan, you said it? Did I say you? Go ahead, sweetie, unmute. Okay, Azra, you can do after too, okay? Layan, you can unmute.
بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. صدق الله العظيم.
MashaAllah. Thank you so much, Layan. And Azra, do you want to recite something? Oh, I said Serene. Okay, Serene's going to recite
Yes.
something too. I'm sorry, I messed up. Okay, Azra, go ahead.
What?
Do you want to recite something or did you want to ask a question?
I want to recite Surat Al-Kawthar.
Okay, go ahead.
Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar fasalli li rabbika wanhar inna sani'aka huwal abtar.
MashaAllah, Azra. Very good. And somebody just told me, Abdullah, thank you for keeping track. I said Serene will recite. Okay, Serene, are you here? I don't see Serene here. Okay. Oh, that's okay, Layan. Thank you so much. I make mistakes sometimes and I appreciate you guys being so forgiving. So thank you all so much for joining and especially want to thank Sister Reem for joining. And before we go, I would like to remind you, inshallah, next week we have our last read aloud. It will be at a different time than today. So whatever time it is right now for you, it's going to be 4 hours. Wait, oh, yeah, 4 hours after that. So it's at 12 o'clock for us here in Texas. And I think for you guys, it might be in Indonesia, it's going to be 12 o'clock midnight. And I think for in Dubai, maybe 10 o'clock in the night. So I hope, I don't know, but maybe you'll be able to join us. And our theme for next week is gratefulness. And it's our last week. We have extended the poetry writing and the story writing. So if you didn't get to submit your poem or your stories, we really want to ask you to think about doing that because who knows, maybe in 10 years, you will be invited to join Ramadan Connect as an author, like Sister Reem. Right?
Inshallah.
Inshallah. And also the really cool thing is Muslim Kids TV is a sponsor of this whole programming, and they are going to make the winning stories into cartoons, animated short. Super, super, super exciting. So that could be your story. On the Padlet, we have a number of different videos that have been made from children just like you who submitted to last year's story writing contest. So we definitely want to encourage you to participate in that. If you have any questions, you can ask Mr. Yahya. I know somebody's saying Miss Shah and Miss Reem look alike. And I'm looking at Miss Reem and saying, we do look alike. We're not related, I promise. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining. And I hope you have a great rest of your night or day, wherever you are. And these are some really, really, really special nights. So can I ask a special request? Can you make dua for all of the ummah, all of the people around the world who are having trouble with something? Maybe they're sick. Maybe they lost their home in an earthquake. Remember, we were talking about Turkey in the beginning. Let us make dua for them, inshallah. And you guys, listening to you and your duas, and you can make dua for other things you want too, like a brand new journal or a beautiful pen. Okay, that's it. Take care, guys. Assalamu alaikum. I hope to see you next week at our last read aloud. Take care, guys. Wa alaikum salam.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.